Hey, what's up guys? So exactly 1 month ago, this gorgeous indie pixel art Metroidvania came out. Now this game, A Wit A Journey of Hope, looks on par with games like Chasm. Just gorgeous pixel art, but for whatever reason, it just hasn't landed all too well and is now sitting on mixed reviews, with nearly half the people giving it a thumbs down. So I want to play a bit of this game and try to work out what has gone wrong, and maybe I can come up with some suggestions the developer can action in a future patch. And with a bit of luck, maybe they can turn it around. So let's get into this. It's funny, these days I feel like I'm playing more games that are negatively received than positive. It's kind of what happens when you're making games yourself. You want to avoid some of those mistakes. So we've got some intro story here. I'm just going to skip all this preamble and get straight into the meat of it. Okay. Wow, so taking this background, guys, look at the movement. Look at the foliage, look at the grass, look at the flowers, everything is dancing. It's beautiful. And the play controller feels pretty good too. Usually when I jump into a new side-scroller, I like to test out the play controller and see if you can find any flaws in the movement. We've got a sequenced attack, 3 different animations, and you can see the players moving forward with every attack into combat, which is quite nice. Good weight. A to jump, X to attack, we've worked that part out. Up. Oh, pressing up and nothing is happening on the analog stick. Okay, so I had to use the D-pad. I had to switch from the analog to the D-pad, which is a kind of inconsistency, I guess. It'd be good if it was the one up on the analog stick was able to do everything. Back view inventory, okay. So we've got our inventory here. Yep. Well, we don't need to use the potion, but overall the inventory looks okay. So, a few different instructions on the left. Yeah, maybe too many. We'll see. So this is the customary save point and health regen. Yeah, really beautiful game. RT map, classic Vania map. One-way platforms here, and I imagine I can drop through. Yep. Okay, so far so good. Hold A to grab edges. Uh-oh. Okay. So it looks like we have a grabbing system. Yep. So unlike most games like, let's say, Dead Cells, where you can jump and it'll automatically grab the edge with proximity detection, in this game you have to actually press the button to grab. So it becomes a bit of a mini game. Not sure how I feel about that design-wise. I'll probably make it auto-grab. Got a ladder system here. Can I... Okay, can jump attack. Oh, can we go back down? Oh, okay. You can't seem to go down the ladder. You have to do a drop-through grab. Which is kind of weird, right? Like, you might want to be able to, in most games, just press down to go through. And I know there are some technical challenges with that, having worked on that system myself in my own game. But that's something that it's kind of like a standard, right? To be able to drop through a platform onto a ladder. So we've got a shield system here. Oh, what? I'm blocking and I'm getting hit. Ah. So pressing block is kind of like a parry. It's not actually keeping the shield out. You know, in some games, if you hold down the block, it'll hold it, and then when you let go of the button, it'll retract. But in this game, it's very much like a parry. With an auto counter attack. See that? That's alright. That's a design choice, you know. Like, some people might want to give the player agency to actually press the counter attack. Any secrets? So yeah, again, this drop down through the platform to grab the ladder is a bit awkward, right? Especially when you're above an enemy like that. Oh. So you got this roll, okay, but the roll, it appears, yeah, it's a bit of an awkward roll. Let me try to work out what's going on. Yeah, you can't... Okay, 2 things. First of all, you have a stamina system in the top left corner. You see this blue gauge? Every time I roll I use a bit of stamina. I don't personally like that because I feel like being able to roll is like a core move that should be fundamental to your player agency. And to make it stamina bound is a bit restrictive. You know, if you wanted to have a horde room with a lot of different enemies, you wouldn't be able to take them all on. You'd have to make your way to a safe zone or somewhere where you can regenerate your stamina. I would just take that out personally. I'm not a fan of stamina when it comes to games. Oh, so we have a ranged enemy. Oh yeah, what I was going to say is this roll, it doesn't cancel, and I'm getting animation locked at the end. You see how far I'm rolling? So let me regen some of this stamina. So look how far the roll goes. You see, it's quite a long roll, and this whole time I'm animation locked, and I can't cancel it with an attack or a jump. So if you're trying to backstab an enemy, and you want to roll through and quickly backstab them, you can't. You have to wait for that whole roll sequence to finish. I would add a bit of a grace period maybe to the last 20% of the animation, letting the player cancel out. Alright, let's continue. These little things here, they look like a signpost, but I guess they're a mushroom, right? Pretty nice chill music. Alright, so we've got a bit of platforming here. Bit of a mix of combat and platforming. Yeah, that roll, man, that's a problem in my opinion. And that could very well be what is coming up in reviews. Coins are falling through the floor too, so maybe some collision issues there. This seems like a waste of space here. Oh, okay. I stand corrected. We have a secret. Full recovery potion, okay. Geez, I might want to use a potion. Why to use? Okay, I was getting confused as to what to press. You see, on the left, you've got this whole list of different actions to take. I feel like it might be simpler just to have the action above your focused item where your selector is. Just have the little prompt there, so my eye doesn't have to travel left and right to work out what the button is. Okay, is this a village or a house? And yeah, even here, at this point we've established that up is to go in and up is to action, but it might be nice to have a little prompt just to say, hey, press up, because, you know, if we haven't played the game for a while, we come back, we can forget these things. Some kind of a tavern, and we have free stamina. Okay, we got a lot of things. We got a lot of things piled up. We got 3 different text fields like on top of each other. Stamina, health, and something else. Let's take it all. You know, we've been collecting coins. We've got 21 coins. This might have been a good opportunity to maybe sell something to the player, because we've collected a few health potions that have been scattered in the world, but we haven't quite established what the money is for. It also might have been nice to have maybe an NPC sitting at this table here, drinking an ale or a coffee, and maybe you can talk to them and they'll say something about the game, maybe a bit of a snippet of lore. Maybe they can talk about the world or how much they hate their monsters or something. So what was that thing we got? Goblin's Eye. Use item. Okay, I can't... What? How do I... Oh, press RB to equip as charm. Okay. I feel like that can probably be streamlined, where you've got one button to use it and a different button to equip it. And then a different button again to unequip. I feel like all this could be done with one button. One button to equip, one button to unequip. There's really no reason to have 3 different buttons to equip different things. It can probably be streamlined a bit, you know. So let's equip that. What does it do? Slowly cures the wounds. Cool. What? Was that the charm? No. You found a gold shade lily. I did not see anything there. It was one of his like auto rewards. So I wouldn't mind stress testing this AI a bit. I mean, what do they do? Do they follow me up the stairs? Hello? Hello? No. Hello, come on. Over here. So their aggro zone seems limited to that lower area. I think they probably can't climb stairs. Can we block? Okay. Again, I'm not doing the attack there. That's an automatic counter. And one comment I have just about the feedback of that enemy. I feel like the enemy could make some grunting sounds or maybe like a die scream, like a "Uah!" Because the enemy was completely silent throughout the whole throughout that whole fight. I feel like it's a bit empty in a way. I feel like we could have a few more enemies here, one more here. I wouldn't even mind fighting 2 enemies at this point. I feel like at this point we've learnt enough about the game that you can throw 2 enemies at us. I think that'll be completely acceptable. Nothing here. I keep looking for secrets, maybe like a barrel to break or some crates. You know, crates and barrels are often, or pots or, you know, clay vases. They're often just there to keep the player busy, you know. Like, it's kind of nice to just go over and smash something in between enemies. Get some coins from it, even if it's like a 1 coin or... Whoa, okay. So, yeah, enemies cannot traverse slopes. Yeah, see, I tried to do a backstab there and I was animation locked. Ah, come on. And again, just these silent enemies. I think you could really enhance the experience by making them groan a bit more on death. Okay. These spikes there at the bottom of this gap, I feel like they probably could be a different color, maybe red, just to visually make it very easily identifiable, because if you were just cruising through here, you might mistake that as being just kind of grass or something. Right, full health. I wonder what happens if we fall into this water. Insta death. Okay. Oh, okay. So it's a full-on like. Well, lucky we're close to a save point. What I like to do in these cases is, I do this in my own game, when you fall into water or down a ravine or crevasse, then I respawn the player on the closest bank and take some health away, rather than penalizing them completely. Because you can imagine working your way through a long level only to fall down some ravine and completely be reset, just from that one mistake. All right, we have a boss. Nice, Goblin Queen. What's the pattern here? Pure melee, any ranged? Oh, okay, they're dizzy. Whoa, whoa, can I block? Whoa, okay, no, it's unblockable. Is it all unblockable? So the attacks are unblockable and I'm getting absolutely wasted here. Oh, no! For unblockable attacks, it's probably good to differentiate the unblockable attacks with from normal attacks. There's various ways you can do this. Obviously, some kind of red glow or maybe like a flashing icon above the head for a telegraph. I don't know, but yeah. Alright, I want to focus on this one. Oh, see, that stamina is killing me, man. I'm running out of stamina and I can't even attack. I can't roll. Yeah, see? God. Yeah. That's one thing I would correct very soon or immediately as a first course of action. Alright, I've got him. I mean, that's pretty reasonable for a first encounter. Kind of felt like a mid-boss, probably not a major boss. And hopefully I get some health regen here, or even a checkpoint or something, because, yeah. It's always customary to give the player an ability to refill their health after fighting a boss. We have a new area. Yeah. Ah, and there we have it. Good. Yeah, so these are overlapping text fields. I mean, you could put one pot on the other side of this shrine. Alternatively, maybe they don't even need text fields, right? I mean, we already know the blue one is stamina, the red one is health, and if we don't know, we can always open the inventory and see that here. So it might be a little bit redundant to have the text fields, especially if they're causing this overlap. Okay, so we've got this guy again. Because we're in a new area, I kind of feel like at this point it might be nice to introduce a new enemy rather than that same one that was the very first enemy of the game, in fact. Just to make it feel like we're making progress, we're moving through the world. This is a new area, new enemies. You can see over there, we're likely to get a double jump item at some point in this game. Whoop. So that looks like it could be a merchant. Let's see. I've heard about the situation in your village. That's my Deck Arcane voice. Sounds hopeless. Only sorrow and despair are buried in this place. The gods were angry at the hateful and blasphemous owners of this place. Okay. Do you have something to sell me, or are you just going to be ranting? Nothing to buy. Okay. I think this could also be a good opportunity. I've got 66 coins now. Maybe just to demonstrate to the player that the economy has, rather the coins have some purpose and there's a reason to collect them. Because right now, the coins have no value or purpose or meaning. I guess we'll soon find that out. But yeah, you could kind of bring that in a bit sooner. Just to have them chasing after coins. Yeah, definitely feel like there could be more enemies, you know, just more, like, this is another opportunity. Stick an enemy here. Out of howling prophets and curses of the righteous, and all those who dreamt about a true revolution got distracted by bloody feuds. Some esoteric lore. Fair enough. Yeah, so maybe some enemies here as well as I come up. Maybe a ranged enemy sitting right here. Oh, we've got one here, fair enough. And he seems to have detected me already. Okay. So this is like a, what is it, like a rat or something? A dagger rat, a sin. Now I've got to say, just I love all the movement in the background. Not many games do that. They might have really elaborate, beautiful pixel art, but it's not moving like this. It's like a shader on it or something. It's really nice. And maybe another enemy right here. And I haven't seen any ranged enemies at this point. It'd be cool to have a ranged enemy because we have this jump attack. But the jump attack hasn't had any purpose at this point. Up or down? Maybe let's check down here. Oh. So I obviously can't make that jump. But I can definitely get across. Which is kind of awkward a little bit to take damage to get across. I guess later on I'll get a double jump and it won't be an issue. So this is cool, a nice vista here, just to kind of give the player some contrast. We've been inside here, and we kind of break to an outside just to change up the color scheme. That's quite nice. A bit of a death drop here. Secret, secret, where are you? Oh! Oh man, all designers think alike. All designers think alike, huh? What do I get? Magical skull. Restores a bit of HP after every kill. Okay, so that's RB to equip. So we have two charms now that are both health related. So we're going to be pretty OP at this point, I feel like. And I have a lot of potions. Look, potion, potion, full health potion. So we haven't really been challenged yet at this point. I feel like, yeah, I feel like at this point the player could deal with at least 2 enemies at a time. So it doesn't look like we can get through there. So a bit more of the same again, just in isolation. We've done this a few times now, so I feel like you could easily stick 2 of those guys down here, or even 3, you know? See what happens. Chuck a ranged enemy right here, so when I land, I've got to quickly deal with them. Hello, secret. Nope. Nice music. Okay. Oh, away. Alright. See, I'm not even collecting coins anymore because I haven't... It hasn't been established what they're for, so I lose interest in the coin a little bit. I think that's the reason to kind of show it earlier, just to say to the player, hey, this is what you need to do. Where am I? I've gone in a big circle. Alright, well, I don't know, maybe it's worth trying to get up to the next area. I might just leave it there with some last thoughts and notes. So let's start with some good stuff. The game is beautiful, really nice pixel art, really nice animation, has a nice flow, the world map, good kind of use of space. However, it just needs to be a bit more populated. There's just not enough enemies, not enough challenge. And for what is essentially a combat game, I just haven't been stressed enough as a player. I would consider tweaking the combat system, make it so I can cancel out of a roll, either with an attack or jump. I think that'll really improve the experience. A bit more feedback on enemies. When I fight them, let them make some kind of grunts and groans. And just maybe more enemy variety earlier on. At this point, I've only seen 3 different enemies that are kind of similar in a sense. 2 melee, 1 ranged. And it's just been a little bit repetitive. It would be nice to get some variety. Or if not that, at least composite those enemies in a way. You know, have the ranged together with a melee. Let me try to work out how to solve that challenge. And finally, just some general hygiene when it comes to the interfaces. You know, in the inventory system, we have 1 button to equip an item, a completely different item to unequip it, and then another button again to equip charms. I feel like all that could be 1 button. And we can add little prompts around the place just to remind the player of what the different actions are. And if you guys have spotted anything that you'd like to add, how this game can be improved, drop a comment down below and I'm sure the developer will appreciate it. So that's it guys, hopefully you've learned something from this video and hopefully this game can be improved in the future and they can turn that mixed review into a positive. Because this game obviously took a long time to make, a lot of passion has clearly gone into it and it wouldn't take much to turn this around because it has a really strong foundation. It's a good platform. It just needs some design tweaks. Maybe it came out of the oven a little bit too soon. I don't know. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.